Hello all, it's Karen from Be Creative, and I'm here with some tool information. It's tool time. I think the most important thing before you start any project is having the right equipment, and tools are such a huge part of that. A lot of the tools that we acquire over the years, if you've been paper crafting for a while, they're tried and true, and you hold on to them forever. But if you've maybe been a scrapbooker and you're getting into card making, or maybe you're getting out of the album and doing some altered art, knowing what tools to use and things that you need in your arsenal is really important. So I just want to go over some maybe more obscure tools, or even some basics too, and talk about how I use them, whether it's for scrapbooking or it's coloring or whatnot. So let's get right into it. Let's start with paper trimmers. These are two of my favorites. These companies have been around forever. They're well known in the paper crafting industry. We Are Memory Keepers. This is a trimmer and a scoreboard, which I think makes it a little bit almost better than the Fiskars, even though Fiskars kind of has that name that's been around since the dawn of time. This guy is a paper trimmer, but then it's got the built-in scoreboard with scoring tool. You can also store it on the side. It comes with the trimmer blades. It's got really good measuring. Here it opens up fully to 12 inches, so you've got a lot to work with. Really easy cutting guide, so you can score your cards, you can cut your cards, everything right there. And of course there's the replacement blades too. We always need that. Then we've got Fiskars, which is, known forever and ever, and they keep changing around their different trimmers, just giving you different options. This one has a really good grid line designs to really measure. It's got the swing arm that opens up to the full 12 inch, so you've got all that space you need when you're doing 12 by 12 layouts. It also comes with a couple blades in there. One thing to note about Fiskars, because you may have a trimmer from 10, 15 years ago, as they've changed it, they have changed how they do their track system. So taking a look, and again, the way they do their refills, they keep changing the top. It's not important the top. What's important is looking on the side. So if you look here, let me do it so you can see. Here's two different refill blades. You can see this one is just a flat with the blade coming down. This one, it has a little bit of a lip. Can you see that lip? This is called a triple track blade. So the lip on that ensures that it fits into the grooves of the track on the newer trimmers. The really older models are still using this blade. So if you don't have a triple track, you're gonna want refill G. That's for your standard trimmer, not triple track. If you have a newer trimmer and you need that triple track, you're looking for I. So G is the older model, I is the newer one. So that's the deal with trimmers. Let's get into scissors as well. Two of my favorite scissors would be the Tim Holtz and the Cutter Bee. I like the Cutter Bee for detail, really comfortable handles on that, and great for detail cutting. The Tim Holtz, it comes in a variety of different lengths. This is the jumbo. There's also a real mini snip that's 5 inch, and then one in between that's about 7 inch. What I like about these are the titanium shears ensure that nothing's sticking to it. So if you're cutting through, say, red line tape or glue dots or foam tape, it's not going to get all gooey and sticky. So you can keep your scissors clean and gunk free and keep cutting through your project. It also has the beveled edge and kind of like a serrated edge, so you can go through tin and chipboard, but then just as easily switch to really ultra fine ribbon, and it's sharp as the day you bought them. So these are two really great ones. As far as cutting, I like the Tim Holtz retractable craft knife. It comes with ones in there. Just don't get confused, because there's a craft knife and then there's a craft pick. They are not the same. Obviously, a pick is like a paper piercer, whereas the knife is to cut, but they look very much the same. So those are two awesome tools from Tonic from Tim Holtz. As far as other paper piercing options, there's a whole host of them. If you just need something to poke holes or poke, say, little things out of your dies, like little stray pieces of paper that are stuck, this is a pokey tool, which has the rubber protector, so you're not going to stab yourself when you reach into your craft bag. So this is a very economical option to have something that's a little pokey tool. There's also, from We Are Memory Keepers, this guy, which is a brad setter with a piercer on the other end. So this is great for, yes, setting brads, creasing out the little lip of the eyelets when you're, spreading that apart. And anytime you need to like smooth something out into the middle corners, say you're putting paper onto a chipboard surface that's dimensional and you just really need to get into a crevice, this is kind of a really great thing to have. Also does the sticky piercer, which is a piercer on one end, and then on the other end it's got almost like a gummy eraser, so you can pick up and place little gems, sequins, all kinds of stuff like that very easily without, trying to pick them up with your tweezers and flicking them across the room. But if tweezers are your groove and you need to pick up stickers or something like that, the precision tweezer from 𝐕 is a really nice option. It's got more of a spring action, so it's very easy to manipulate, and rubberized tip cover so that you're not stabbing yourself again, because I can tell you how many times I've stabbed myself. It's crazy. So it's important to have the right protection on top of your tools as you're reaching into your bag of tricks. Also, this guy's a really great tool as well to put different types of glues and have a fine application with that little pin to keep the nozzle clear in between when you're using it. So this is great, and you could do this with paint or whatever else you need to put in there, but having these on hand, and these are also very affordable, very easy to use. Let's talk coloring tools, because a lot of us use alcohol markers to color in our stamped images. I know I do. I always work with the Tri-Blend, either brush or regular. I think it's a great alternative to Copic because it's a lot more affordable, and at Be Creative we carry absolutely everything alcohol marker that's affordable. So when we're going to be blending out, this is where the tools come in. Yes, you blend within itself using a lighter color, but sometimes you want to add texture, you want to erase. The two tools you need to do those types of effects would be a blender pen, a colorless blender pen, and some blender solution. So the blender pen just comes, it's a classique, so it's got a traditional bullet nib on one end and a chisel on the other, as you can see here. And it's just easy to take color away. But the technique I like even better is when I need to add some bigger effects. So let's say here I've got a piece of paper here, and I'm gonna get I'm coloring a bunny rabbit, okay? Here, I'm gonna do two swatches so you can see. This is just a dark gray bunny rabbit. Now, our bunny rabbits are not smooth. They're furry, right? Bunnies are furry. So you want to give somewhat of a fur effect. Yes, you could come in with your blender pen and you could pixelate and add some furry effects, but a more natural way I find is to take my blender solution, and this is the stuff that goes in the blender pen, but I use it if I'm cleaning up. Let's say I've got alcohol ink that I've smudged somewhere on my tabletop. I've got it on my acrylic block, which I used as a palette, and I just need to clean it off. This will take it off because it's all the alcohol with no tint. So I can take just this terry cloth washcloth here, and I'm going to just eyedropper some of this blending solution onto it because the terry cloth has a texture, as you can see. So when I start to kind of stipple, if you can see that, and I spilled a little bit, it'll just evaporate, which is no big deal. So I'm just going to kind of spounce it. And here, let me bring this up close so you can see. Can you see the difference here? It's starting to look like fur because it's trying to erase and model that. So this is the smooth and this is the furry effect, as you can see. And you can even see how it's coming through the other side because that blender solution is like pushing it through the paper and it's giving it that distressed look. So great way to do denim and fur and other textures using the blender refill. And this will work on any type of alcohol marker, any brand, as long as they're based in alcohol. Another great tool associated with marker coloring and pencil coloring would be this pencil blending kit from Spectrum Noir. It's a zippered case in here where you're getting the blending stumps and eraser, sketching pencils, stump sander. We use the stumps when we're working with colored pencils in particular that you can use on top of alcohol marker or on their own if you just like to color with colored pencils. But to smooth out those effects, we can use the blender. Beyond that, if you want to make colored pencil look more like a watercolor effect, you can get into this, which is Gamsol. Gamsol is an odorless mineral spirits, as you can see on the package here. This has, here, let's open it up. This guy comes with a sander and a stump, and super easy to work with. You would just, it has a little top on it. See how it's got a dauber top? So you just kind of squeeze it up and it's going to be wet like a dauber, and you can get your stump here and just get it wet and then blend out colored pencil to get it to look more soft, natural, and more watercolory. So that's a lot of fun. And this works with any brand of traditional colored pencil that's not a watercolor pencil. This tool is called the Creative Detailer tool from 𝐂𝐤 Creations, how snazzy, the Gentleman Crafter collection. And this allows you to clean up foil, like stray, when you're working with heat activated foil through different foiling machines. It allows you to kind of heat and touch up and clean up that foil. Very easy to use. It just takes batteries. Now, getting into brushes and blending, because a lot of us who are doing stamping do a lot with backgrounds. So let's look at some different brush options here. Nuvo has a lot of great stuff. I mean, it's just top quality. I know there's a lot of different brands out there and places where you can get blending brushes, but a little bit you do get what you pay for, in my experience. So I found that Nuvo is just a really great brand. That's why we carry it. It's not some knockoff that's going to fall apart on you after you use it one time and add a little pressure to the brush head. So this is a set of the precision blending brushes. They're nylon brushes, and you can use them with all mediums. So this is the small set. Here's the larger set for maybe doing blended backgrounds, that kind of thing. They also have the big dual blending brush. This almost looks like if you were going to do a whole lot of makeup on your face, but great for stenciling, for doing softer backgrounds, but you are going to get more of a wispy hair look if you're blending out inks. But I use this in particular for stenciling. Beyond that, if you need to clean up your stamps and tools, you've got the Stazon Cleaner. It's good for use with alcohol-based inks, not water-based, because water-based will just clean up with water. So this is if you're using Stazon or some of those other types of archival inks, and it's got the dauber top on it, so it's easy to ink up your stamp and clean it off. So that's one option, because yeah, if you don't use a water-based ink on your stamps, then you can't really clean it up with water. You need something that's solvent-based, which is what this is. Another option would be to use the Lawn Fawn Stamp Chamois. You just add water. It feels like a car chamois. It takes off all inks, be they water-based or alcohol-based. We don't know how it works. We just know it works. We don't question it. So your chamois will get all disgusting and gross, and you just continue to use it without the need for washing it or doing anything special. You just keep it in with your stuff and keep getting it wet, and it will take all those inks off of there. What else did I forget? Oh yes, I love this mini punch board. This is kind of fun for doing mini envelopes, great for gift cards, different sizes, and they've got some really great YouTubes on the We Are site that show you how to work with all their different tools. There's a little scoring tool in there, makes it so easy to do the little baby envelopes. Oh, another blending tool I forgot. Going back to the brushes, this guy's phenomenal. Really holds the ink well, blends out nicely. And I like to use a round blending tool versus a square, because when we're blending, we're going in circular motions. We don't want big squares on our projects, so round just makes the most sense. If you're doing finer applications of ink, maybe daubers are your groove. These are great tools, and this is a great way to get it because you're getting 40 daubers already in there in a really nice carry case that's ready to go. And then you don't have a big bag of random daubers. You have somewhere to store it. You have organization and your tools at your disposal. Now, getting into stamping beyond cleaning up stamps, if we're going to be putting stamps behind other images behind other images in our stamping, doing that faux 3D effect, you're going to want some masking magic, which is masking paper that allows you to, if you stamp an image, you can mask it and then stamp another image and offset it so it will layer very easily. So that's kind of one of those stamping must-haves, and this will go a long ways because you're getting 12 5x7 sheets in the package. And what else do I want to talk about? I think adhesive tools are important to note. I mean, I consider my big Easy Runner Grand Gun the best tool of all my tools because I use it every time I do any type of project. This is my go-to. This comes with different refills, permanent dots, repositionable dots, ultra strong, clear, transparent tape, and then your traditional paper tape that looks like railroad tracks. I think the best thing about having this as your go-to adhesive tool is you get a lot of bang for your buck. The refills on this are going to hold 3 times what a regular little gun holds. Plus it's about double the price of a little. So you're getting 3 times as much for only twice the price. So economically, it's the better buy for sure. And this is really lightweight and easy to hold. So it's not heavy or cumbersome. They're easy to load. And I just find that it's an easy way to get my adhesive down every time. I don't have any issues with it curling up on me or coming apart. And it's just my go-to. Now, beyond that, if we're working with stencils and running die cuts or embossing folders through our die cut machine, you're going to want a low tack tape to ensure you're anchoring stuff down and it's going through and not sliding around like metal dies that you're putting through your die cut machine. So having a low tack tape, there's just a lot of choices. It's a matter of your personal preference. Purple tape, I'd say, is the newest, and a lot of people really rave about that. It has been quite popular for us. It comes in 2 widths. So there's the 1/2 inch and then there's the 1.5 inch, I believe. And then there's Scotch, which is always that name brand, which is great that it sticks really securely but comes off without taking anything with it. And then Crafter's Companion has a low tack tape in a 3-pack. So you get a lot in here. It's water-based, it's clear, really easy to work with the little dispenser. So it's just a matter of your personal preference. A couple other adhesive-based tools would be the craft mat from Spectrum Noir. There's one from Ranger too. I like the Spectrum Noir one because it's a little bit less expensive, and I'm always about saving $1 so I can then spend it on other things like my paper and my embellishments and my stamps and all that good stuff. So this is a craft mat that's Teflon. It's Teflon built, so you don't want to fold it because that will kind of like score it and it will never lay flat again. So keep it rolled up, but it's a non-stick surface. It's non-slip, it's heat resistant, so you can use your heat tool on it. You can get glue on here, paint, ink, everything, and it will wipe off. So it's great to preserve your work surface and preserve your project, having the right tool base to make sure you can do any project on top of it. Then if you're working with die cuts, I talked about the low tack tape, but another option if you need to put sticky back on your mat, like you're throwing it through and that tack is kind of gone, rather than buying another, and I'm talking electronic cutters like, your Silhouettes and your Cricut and all that good stuff. So this is a great way, the Stick and Spray, it's a repositionable adhesive, temporary tack that allows you to put some tack back on your mat without having to buy a brand new mat. I know that the lovely people at those companies want you to buy mat after mat after mat, but that adds up quickly and you don't necessarily need it. Plus, sometimes you'll get the mat and it won't be as tacky or it's too tacky. This way you get to control it and add more when you need it, and you can just ensure an even start surface by taking like a baby wipe or a wet washcloth, wiping it clean, and then just spray a little bit of this on, and just kind of like hairspray. Like, do you want a lot of hairspray? Not a lot of hairspray. That's kind of it's like personal preference. So see how much tack you want, but this is a great thing to do. And then if you have your stray little goobers hanging off of your, say, die cut where you've put it through a Xyron and it's got little sticky little residue, this is a great way to pick it up. It's a little adhesive pickup square where you can kind of spounce it and it will take all of that up. So I hope I gave you a little overview of what you need to get started tool-wise, some maybe tools you haven't heard of that will help you take your paper crafting to the next level. You can find all this and much more at www.shopbecreative.com. There's several categories you can look in. One is called tools. We've got storage and organization. Lots of different categories you'll find on the left-hand menu of the website. If you have any questions, you can always contact me directly, and I hope you're enjoying your evening, and I'll see you later.